Hi everyone, my name is Taha Zia and I'm a lecturer at Phoenix Financial Training, Dubai. So the question I will be practicing with you on this video is called Sweet Treats Bakery, which is from the December 2016 exam. Now the December 2016 exam is not available in the PDF format on the ACCA website. So if you just go on to the performance management tab here on the ACCA website and you click on the question practice ACCA platform, just scroll down and click on practice exam 2. So this opens on the format on which you will be doing your exam. If you haven't read this question yet, please pause the video here. Just go on this link, read through the question, and then come back and watch me do a debrief on this question. So what are the key pickings for you in this question? Why was this question considered to be a very difficult one in the exam? So you can see here in the table, a lot of the information is given per unit. You've been given minimum demand, and there's a sentence here which says the minimum demand is a long-term contract. Now, you know, contracts are promises. They have to be delivered no matter what the profitability is across these different products. They've got to be they've got to be made for your customer. And then you've got the maximum daily demand here, which will be inclusive of the minimum demand unless stated otherwise by your examiner. So the difficult part here was when students were calculating the minimum demand. For example, for brownies, they would do a 30/40 and say 0.75 is the minimum demand here. Now, if you think about it, will you ever bake half a cake or half a batch of a cake or half a batch of a brownies? I mean, you could go with selected fillings yet, but the cost which you will be incurring will be on batch basis. And it's been told that the production here is on batch basis. So if you look at the second table here it says that the products must be produced in their batch sizes. So a lot of the students did read this, but they failed to apply this in the first table. So if I apply this very sentence for brownies, so 30/40 would not be 0.75, but is going to be one batch. So minimum, we're going to make one batch. Now 140 divided by 40 is 3 point something, but I can't be making that, right? So I've got to make 4 batches in this case, because if I just make 3 batches, that comes to 120. I will not be in position to meet the maximum demand. So I've got to make maximum 4 batches. So first you fix that part on this question. So the information here which is given for your processes is per batch. It says each batch of cakes requires the following amount of time for each process. You've got these 3 processes here: weighing, mixing, and baking. All this information given here is in minutes, but for each batch of the 3 products mentioned here. And then there's some information given about one of the processes where you've got 8 hours available, 1440 available minutes. So ovens have a capacity of 1 batch per bake. So this is your question here. It's been told the company uses throughput accounting. Now throughput accounting is not like your contribution, except that when you calculate throughput accounting, you calculate throughput contribution, which is sales minus material costs, because all other costs are assumed to be fixed. Now, moving on to the first question here, it says on Monday, in addition to the baking ovens, Sweet Treats Bakery has the following process resources available. So in addition to the baking minutes here, which is 1440, we've been given information on the other 2 processes also. So for weighing, we've got 240 minutes available, and for mixing, we've got 180 minutes available. Now, which of the 3 processes here is a bottleneck activity? Now, before I show you my workings, I want you here to recap your knowledge about what a bottleneck is. How do I identify a bottleneck? So if I need more time than what is available, that particular process is going to be a bottleneck. Because if I need, for example, 100 minutes, but a particular process is restricting me to only 80 minutes of work, it is stopping me to produce the desired output. So, and the desired output is to meet the maximum demand. So let me show you my working here then. So I would start with getting the maximum demand. I've already told you how to calculate that. For example, for brownies, we said it wouldn't be 3 point something, but it would be 4. I'm going to do the same thing for muffins. That would be 90 divided by 30. And for cupcakes, it would be 100 divided by 20. So I get 5. These are all batches. All information here is in batches. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the calculation of the time which is needed. Now these are the minutes which are given to me in the second table of the question. Let me apply this to the desired output to meet the maximum demand. And what I see here is I need 205 minutes of weighing time to meet this demand, 188 minutes of mixing time to meet the desired demand, and 1410 minutes of baking time again to meet the desired demand. I then compare this with the time available, and what I notice is when I look at weighing, for instance, I've got 240 minutes, I need 205. I don't have any problem here, I don't have a constraint. But when I look at mixing, I've got only 180 minutes available, but what I need is 8 minutes more than that. So I know this is where there is going to be a constraint. This is going to be my bottleneck. Now, if you're a little confused here, you could see that for baking also. You've got 1440 available, but what you need is only 1410 minutes. So I know my answer here is mixing. I'm going to click here and move to the next point. You might be thinking this question will take you some more time, but don't worry. In normally section B questions, you know it's a set of 5 OTQs. 2 to 3 questions will take you a lot of time. Then the other 2 questions is where you can save time, and you will see that in this particular question as well. Now, moving on to the next part here, it says on Wednesday the mixing process is identified as the bottleneck process. Now let's say you couldn't pick mixing on the previous one, and let's say I didn't do those working. Just go back, previous, click mixing. Now that's the last resort, of course. Now on this day, only 120 minutes in the mixing process are available. So we've got very less time here. Assuming that Sweet Treats Bakery wants to maximize profit, what is the optimal production plan? Okay, and the information, the answers given here is brownies, muffins, and cupcakes. I'm going to remember this sequence. Now here only 120 minutes are available. Let's not forget that you've got a minimum daily demand here of the units. Okay, so I'm going to first take them out. Let me show you my working. So first I want to start with my throughput per unit. So let me do my rankings. Let me understand which product should be my priority when it comes to production. So I do my sales minus material cost here. Then I multiplied with the units. Let me give you an example. So throughput per unit is 1.25. So 1.5 minus 0.25. Let me multiply this with the batch size of 40. So that will give me throughput per batch. Why am I making it per batch? Because all my time, all my minutes are per batch. So let me convert this into per batch. So when I multiply it with the units, I get 50 here. I bring in the mixing minutes. That's the bottleneck time here. I divide the throughput per batch with the minutes. And this is what I have here. So cupcakes, I'm just trying to save time here. So I've just mentioned them as B, M, and C. So cupcakes is rank 1, brownies is 2nd, and muffins is 3rd based on the throughput per minute working. Now let me go with my production plan. Now I know that the minimum I'll be making is 1 batch because I've got a contract there and it's a promise. Let me multiply it with the mixing minutes. And the total time I get here is 48 minutes. Now 120 minus 48, I get only 72. So these are the 72 minutes left for me to meet the other demand here beyond the contract. So let me go with my production plan now. My first rank product was cupcakes. Maximum demand for cupcakes is 5 batches. 1 batch has already been made up here we said maximum includes the minimum unless stated otherwise. So 4 batches times 12 is 48. Now I know there won't be enough time to make all the brownies. So out of the 72, 48 minutes are gone into cupcakes. So there'll be only 24 minutes left for brownies. Now each batch of brownies will take 20 minutes. Now I can't be making 1 point something of brownies. So I'll have to limit myself to only one brownie, right? Because in cooking, you can't be half baking it and saying that's up for sale. You can't be doing that. So this is my final count. One, you can see it's the minimum number batch which I have got across the three. And from this production plan, I get the other numbers. So cupcakes are 4 here from here. So that adds up to 5 batches. Muffins, nothing in the production plan. Only from the minimum batch, I took the 1. Brownies from the minimum batch as well as 1 from here. So I've got 2 batches here. I multiply this with the batch size. So 2 times 40, 80 brownies, 1 times 30, 30 muffins, and 5 times 20 is 100 cupcakes. And so 80, 30, and 100. That's how my data was presented. So this should be my answer here. So this will also take you good amount of time. Moving on to the next part here. Hopefully I'm going to save some time here. It says Sweet Treats Bakery has done a detailed review of its products, costs, and processes. Which two of the following statements will improve TPAR? Now, TPAR is your total throughput divided by your total factory cost. Throughput is made up of your sales and minus material cost. So anything which involves increasing the selling price or reducing your material cost will increase throughput. And if you can control your factory cost, that will also help you in improving your throughput. Please remember, demand will have no impact on the profitability. So the first option is the cafe customer wants to negotiate a discount. Now this is where you end up giving a discount. Selling price goes down, throughput goes down. So this is not your answer. You receiving a discount is good here. So a bulk discount on your raw material, that's good. Material cost goes down, throughput goes up. There is an additional demand. Quantity will have no impact on throughput. And the factory cost, that's the rental, which is being reduced. So that's the denominator in the TPR formula. If that goes down, the TPR will improve. So it should be the second and the fourth option. So we save a lot of time. Moving on to the next part here, it says on Friday, due to a local food festival at the weekend, Sweet Treats Bakery is considering increasing its production of cupcakes. These cupcakes can be sold at the festival at the existing selling price. So the information provided remains the same. The company has unlimited capacity for weighing and mixing. So there's no chance of having a bottleneck across these two processes. But its existing 3 ovens are already fully utilized. Therefore, in order to supply cupcakes to the festival, Sweet Treats Bakery will need to hire another identical oven at a cost of $45 for the day. So that's the extra hiring cost. How much will profit increase by if the company hires the new oven and produces as many cupcakes as possible? So we are only referring to the baking minutes here, and we are only mentioned the cupcakes related information. So this time is important to me. We are going to get this extra oven for 8 hours. Each batch takes 120 minutes. 120 minutes means 2 hours. Now if I've got an extra oven here for 8 hours, so 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and then 2 hours. So that would be 4 batches of cupcakes. Yeah, that would be 4 batches of cupcakes. Let me show you my working here. So I would do 8 divided by 2. So that gives me 4 extra batches of cupcakes. Now I've done here previously. I know what the throughput for each batch is. It's $35 here. So let me multiply the 4 with 35. I get $140 in extra throughput contribution. Let me take out the $45 higher cost. That gives me a benefit of $95. So I know my answer. It should be 95. Here is this option, and we click on next. The last question here is, so it says in a previous week, the weighing process was the bottleneck. So this was your bottleneck weighing, and the resulting throughput accounting ratio was 1.45. Now that's a good TPAR. Anything greater than 1 is good. It means you are generating greater throughput against your cost. So indicate by clicking on the relevant boxes in the table below whether each of the following statements about the TPAR for the previous week are true or false. So the bakery's operating cost exceeded the total throughput contribution. Now, had this been 0.45 or less than 1, this option would have been correct. Here, it's the other way around. The throughput contribution exceeds the cost here. That's why it's greater than 1. So this statement has to be false. Less idle time in the mixing department would have improved the TPR. If you want to improve the TPAR, then fix the bottleneck. Now we know the bottleneck is the weighing process, not the mixing process. This also has to be false. Now the problem with these questions, with this particular question format, is that if you get the first one right and the second one wrong, you get a 0. That's why they're called objective test questions. You've got to be correct across all these statements. Now the third one is improved efficiency during the weighing process would have improved the TPR. Now we know weighing is the bottleneck, so if I can fix the bottleneck, if I can improve the bottleneck, I am going to improve the TPAR as well. So the third statement here is true. So I hope you guys have learned something new on this video. Not only this is a frequently tested topic area, but it's a challenging one. And with the help of this question, you familiarize yourself with the different styles which are examinable as OTQ. So all the best, all of you who are going to be attempting the performance management exam.